Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven, and today I'm going to be showing you the highest single target DPS build you can go with the Marksmanship Hunter. This thing is pretty cool. You have a whole bunch of mobility some of the time if you get lucky with procs, but apart from that, it's basically focused around casting as many aim shots as you can, usually 2 to 3 depending on when you cast it in your rotation, while the target is vulnerable. Okay, so we're going to go through and I'm going to go through everything that you're going to need. So first off, you need Lone Wolf. Increases your damage by 18%, but you can't have a pet. So if you're playing the hunter because you purely just want a pet and you want that class that has a pet, yeah, this type of build is not going to be for you. But for the highest damage possible, you need this thing because that 18% is fucking crisp. So we go to lock and load. Now your ranged auto attacks have an 8% chance to trigger lock and load, causing your next 2 aim shots to cost no focus and be instant. This is what I was talking about with the sometimes you can be mobile as fuck. So when you basically when you're just normally shooting off, you'll get lock and load, these 2 pistols will appear above your head, and then you can cast aim shot for free. Now you can move while you're doing that. Normally aim shot has a 1.83 second cast, so you're going to be standing still while you're casting your aim shots and your wind burst, which is your talent, your artifact talent. But apart from that, when you get lucky enough with these, sometimes you have periods where there's no proc, sometimes you get like 4 or 5 in a row. I've been really lucky sometimes, and I'm just running around shooting shit and fucking no one knows what to do because I'm all over the place. Next, we're going to move over to post haste. I love this basically out of all of them because once again, extra movement from your disengage, you're jumping back and you get the 60% movement. It's just good all around. Here is one of the key parts of this build, okay? Patient sniper. So gain the patience of a veteran sniper, increasing your maximum energy by 30 and causing vulnerable to increase your mark shot and aim shot damage by 150% for 6 seconds. Now it increases the damage by 150% when the target is marked, and the way you mark targets is, of course, if you go into my artifact weapon here, where is it? There we go. Yep, wind burst does it. So basically I've talented it so my wind burst here will cast it as well and put vulnerable on them. Sidewinders puts vulnerable on them, and once you get the proc off Sidewinders, your mark shot will basically put the vulnerable on them as well. Cool thing about the mark shot, when vulnerable's already on them, you shoot them with the mark shot, it's doing the extra 150% damage because of patient sniper. So your aim shots are doing 150% extra, your mark shot is as well, as long as they're vulnerable on them. And the whole point of this build is keeping vulnerable up with your wind burst, your Sidewinders, and your mark shots. So that way you can constantly put out those aim shots and getting the extra bonus damage from it. So keep that in mind. That's what you're going to be looking towards. If there's no fucking vulnerable on them, you're not casting aim shot because it's just a waste of damage and it's a waste of energy. And yeah, you may as well just wait until you got, unless you literally have nothing else left, you're no Sidewinders, you're out of everything and you just don't want to sit there and not shoot, then yeah, chuck a few aim shots in. But apart from that, you pretty much don't want to even touch the button unless they got vulnerable on them. Moving on to binding shot for the next one. Basically fires a magic projectile, tethering the enemy to the ground. You got to make sure you shoot it at them, so you can't just put it on the ground, they run through it, won't do shit. You got to hit them with it, the general circle, so that way it stuns them. Nice and cool. Now when you're going for the AoE build, which I might do a thing on as well, barrage is obviously what you want to go for this, but for the single target, murder of lay crows, 1 minute cooldown, summon a flock of crows to attack your target, dealing over 1 million damage. Over 15 seconds, when the target dies while affected by this ability, it resets. Standard, if you're going to be doing single target damage, having 1 million damage pop up over 15 seconds, you can't fucking go wrong. And if the target dies, you can just keep chucking it on people, which is really fun. Now next we have Sidewinders. Okay, so this replaces your arcane shot. Launches Sidewinders that travel back and forward, weaving back and forth and dealing 82,000 nature damage to each target they hit. Cannot hit the same target twice, and applies vulnerable and generates 50 focus. So this target is really big with the single target DPS, but this allows you to actually do some decent AoE because you shoot this and it will just mark every target within range, and then when you get the proc, you can shoot every single target that had that proc with mark shot, and mark shot does a fuckload of damage and extra because you just vulnerabled everyone. See how this is working now? So you put your Sidewinders on, you smash them with mark shot, which does the extra damage, and then for single target, you're just popping off those aim shots, and because they've got vulnerable on them, they're taking extra damage. That is the crux of the build. So I always try and open up with wind burst. You can get about 2 or 3, normally 2 of these aim shots off, chuck your murder of crows up, You hit him with a Sidewinders, 2 or 3 aim shots. Mark shots if it's procced, you pop that, 2 or 3 aim shots. If not, you go back to Sidewinders again, 2 or 3 aim shots. And then basically wind burst will be back up, you wind burst again, 2 or 3. And you see the pattern of what you're doing here. You're constantly using your wind burst, your Sidewinders. If you get lucky, mark shot. If you get lucky as well, lock and loads will help as well, because you can just pump out maybe 4, I think it's like 4 or 5 aim shots in the time it takes for the vulnerable to go off, because they're instant cast now. So it really depends on how lucky you get, but that's the whole point of this build. You'll be doing a fuckload of single target damage, and your AoE is it's decent. You're not going to be doing like as much as a demon hunter, but you will be doing solid AoE. Yeah guys, so that's pretty much this build. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys.